My wife and child stuck badly.
Okay, you said 4147 Murdaugh Road in Allerton?
Sir?
You said 4147 Moselle Road in Allerton?
Yes, sir. 4147 Moselle Road.
Stay on the line with me, okay? Yes, sir. Stay on the line with me, okay?
Hello?
I'm still here. Stay on the line. I'm still here, okay? Collison, I have an Alex Murdaugh on the line calling from 4147 Moselle Road. He's advising that his wife and child was shot. Mr. Murdaugh, go ahead and talk to Collison.
It's 4147 Moselle Road. I've been up to it now. It's bad.
How did they shoot? Did they shoot themselves?
Oh, no. Hell no.
Okay, and are they breathing?
No, ma'am.
Okay, and you said it's your wife and your son?
My wife and my son.
Are they in a vehicle?
No, ma'am. They're on the ground out at my kennel. I can tell that he shot in the head, and he shot really bad. He shot really bad.
Central 717 scene is secured. Got a Whiskey Fox, Whiskey Mike, both gunshot wounds to the head.
Sir, I want to let you know because of the scene, I did go get a gun and bring it down here.
It's in your vehicle? Do you have any guns on you at all?
No, sir. It's leaning up against the side of my car.
Okay. You're fine, man. You're fine. Turn around for me.
I don't have any guns.
Okay. Yes, sir. I see that. Okay. This is your wife and son?
And son.
Okay.
It's bad. It's bad. Check the pulses.
Yes, sir. This is the firearm you brought from inside the house?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I went and got. This is a long story. My son was in a boat wreck a few months back. He's been getting threats. Most of it's been benign stuff we didn't take serious.
Okay.
You know, he's been getting like punched. I know that's somebody. I know that's what it is.
Okay. When did you get home? Right when you called, or did you go to the house first? Where is the house?
I came to the house first. My mom has late stages Alzheimer's, and my dad is in the hospital.
Okay.
I left. I don't know what time. I can go back on my phone and tell you the exact times. Did you check?
Okay. Did I check what?
Did you check them?
We got medical guys that are that's what they're gonna do. Okay.
What are they doing? Can they hurry?
They are. Yes, sir. That gentleman that was out here already, he's one of the battalion chiefs. Okay. How did you pull up? You from back there?
I went to the house and they weren't home, which was odd. I tried to call.
Okay.
And then I knew they had been down here before I left to go to my mom's.
Okay.
And so that is loaded.
Okay.
You might want to unload it. But I mean.
Y'all familiar with this family?
Yes. I wasn't until he told me the names.
I'll
Last
fill you
name
in later.
Murdaugh. The gentleman in the white shirt is the husband of her, father of him. That is Paul Murdaugh. That's just his mother. Paul Murdaugh was that guy in the boating accident from a while back, if you remember.
Yeah. Yeah. Most likely. He did have a firearm whenever I pulled up. It's a shotgun. It's been secured in my vehicle.
This is 54-year-old Richard Alexander Murdaugh, also known as Alec. Alec is a prosecuting attorney whose family's bloodline runs prominence in the 14th District of South Carolina. He is currently in question for the double homicides of his 52-year-old wife Maggie and his 22-year-old son Paul. To To better ascertain or to simply fathom this case in its entirety, it's crucially important we uncover the illicit string of accusations, which encompasses money laundering, embezzlement, witness intimidation, narcotic distribution, falsifying documentations, and even the mysterious death of their previous housekeeper, Gloria Satterfield. Some may come to find this case intrinsically abhorrent. Not only does this give insight to the psychology of a person who is trained to dissect and litigate cordial proceedings, but it also reveals human nature and its innate imperfections that can sometimes harbor dishonest characteristics, such as greed and corruption. Alex was born into an opulent background in law enforcement, being the son of Randolph Murdaugh III. The family had founded a law firm that is formally known as Parker Law Group, which specializes in personal injury litigations, and Alex was no different, where he would soon continue the family's legacy. He would eventually meet a woman by the name of Maggie at the University of South Carolina, where Alex would acquire his bachelor's in political science. This part in Alex's history is worth noting, as in order to obtain such certifications, first, you must be a critical thinker, sharp-witted, and able to acclimate depending on the given situation. As the prosecuting attorney Creighton Waters once described, this gives us mindful insight on Alex's cognitive skills and capabilities when trying to understand his thought process. The two would officially get married and have two sons, Paul and Buster, where both sons would gradually follow in their father's footsteps, helping around the family's law firm. On July 8, 2015, the body of Stephen Smith was found less than 8 miles from the Murdaugh's residence, though the circumstances of Stephen's death was quite suspicious. Stephen's death was initially deemed a hit and run, where the body was recovered laying in the middle of the street more than 3 miles from his own vehicle. The Murdaugh's name was mentioned over a dozen times throughout the fatal incident, but no one was ever tried nor questioned. Until recently, the Smiths family would begin a GoFundMe to reopen Stephen's death in order to exhume and conduct a private autopsy. The goal has since been exceeded, and Stephen's case has recently been reopened and currently being investigated as a possible homicide. On February 26, 2018, police would receive a 911 call coming from the Murdaugh's residence, where Maggie had claimed their housekeeper of more than 20 years had fallen down a flight of stairs, severely injuring her head.
911, where's your emergency?
4147 Moselle Road.
Okay, can you give me the address one more time, make sure I got it right?
Yes, 4147 Moselle Road.
Okay, what's going on out there?
I'm sorry?
What's going on out there?
My housekeeper has fallen and her head is bleeding. I cannot get her up.
Okay, you said she's fallen. She's bleeding from the head?
Yes,
Okay. How old is she?
I'm not sure, like 58 maybe.
Do you know if she fell from standing or not?
No.
Where'd she fall from?
She fell going up the steps, up the brick steps.
Okay, so she outside or inside?
Outside.
Okay. How many steps is there?
8.
Okay, is she on the ground or is she up near the
She's
top?
on the ground. She's on the ground.
Is she conscious?
No, not really.
Is she awake at all?
Yes.
Okay. Is she just not, like, responding appropriately, but she is awake?
Man, she's not responding.
Okay, I've already got them on the way. Me asking questions does not slow them down, man. Knowing if she's conscious is one of the things that the medic needs to know if she's responding
Not
at
really.
all to you.
No.
Okay, so she's not responsive at all.
Well, I mean, she's mumbling.
Okay, so she is somewhat conscious. Is she breathing okay?
Yes.
Is she bleeding from anywhere?
Yes, her head.
Okay, are you guys able to control the bleeding?
No.
Can you
I
put
haven't
a
even
clean
tried.
rag or anything on it?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, is she bleeding from, like, her face, the back of the head,
I've got
her
an
neck?
ambulance coming. Sir, ma'am, what?
Where exactly is she bleeding from on her head?
I'm not sure. At the top of her head.
Okay.
What's it?
Okay.
Oh,
Can-
gosh.
What happened?
She just fell back down. Can I get off this phone so I can go down there?
Can I have your name and phone number? Or are you able to bring the phone down by her?
What?
Are you on a cell phone where you can walk down there
I'm
and
on
talk?
a cell phone. No.
Okay, can you bring it with you so we can ask her some questions about what kind of pain she's having?
Hello?
Yeah, can you ask the patient what kind of pain she's having?
Ma'am, she can't talk.
Okay, do you know...
She's cracked her head and there's blood on the concrete and she's bleeding out of her left ear.
Okay, she's bleeding out of her ear?
And out of her head. She's cracked her skull.
Okay. All right, the other lady said that she had tried to stand up and fell down again?
No, I was holding her up. And
Okay.
she told me to turn her loose and she was trying to use her arm, but then she fell back over.
Okay, do you guys know who she is?
Yes, she works for us.
Okay, do you know if she's ever had a stroke or anything before?
Ma'am, can you stop asking her these
I
questions?
already have them on the way. I already have them on the way. Me asking questions does not slow them down in any way. These are relevant questions that I have to ask for the ambulance. One of my questions is, has she ever had a stroke?
I don't believe she's ever had a stroke now that I know
Okay. Okay, is she able to talk to you guys at all, or is she unconscious now?
that. She's not unconscious. She's just mumbling.
Okay.
I believe she's maybe hit her head and maybe has a concussion or something.
Okay.
Maybe.
Do you know what her name is?
Gloria Satterfield. How long is it going to take? Because this take us.
That I don't know. I've had them on the way since Maggie first called me. They were toned right away.
Okay.
All right, but I think they're coming. Hang on 1 minute. Let me check. They're coming from somewhere on Belt Highway in Ruffin. Okay, that's where their station is.
Thank you.
All right, but like I said, if something changes, call me back.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
When police arrived on scene, they initially stated that Gloria had fatally passed due to complications, including a stroke. Her death was deemed a trip and fall and ruled as natural cause, but no coroner was ever notified and no autopsy was ever performed, leaving the Satterfields with many unanswered questions. It's rumored that days before Gloria's fall, she had prior knowledge of Alex's substance abuse, where she had encountered finding bags of pills taped underneath his bed. It's also rumored that Gloria told Paul about her findings, as she was too afraid to tell Maggie. In 2018, the Satterfields' two sons were awarded a settlement of $3.4 million, but by 2021, both sons stated they had received nothing from Alex's law firm. A year later, on February 24, 2019, 19-year-old Mallory Beach would fatally lose her life during a boating accident at Archers Creek Bridge, Beaufort, South Carolina. Video surveillance would reveal numerous occasions of Paul indulging in alcohol the day before and moments prior to the fateful crash. This video shows Mallory Beach and her boyfriend Anthony Cook, Anthony's cousin Connor, Miley Altman, along with Paul and his girlfriend at the time Morgan Dowdy, each boarding the boat at approximately 2:20 a.m. Subsequently, the driver of the boat would crash into a nearby bridge, where each of the teens were severely injured and taken to the hospital. Connor would detail in a recently unsealed deposition that the group had been drinking all night. Him and Paul would later stop at Luther's to drink some more before getting back on the boat. Connor states that Paul was the one driving the boat and began speeding after hearing that everyone wanted to go home. Connor then goes on to state that Alex Murdaugh began to intimidate him, demanding that he kept his mouth shut about who was driving the boat. Everyone was okay except for Mallory, where no one knew where she was. Police began searching for almost a week, where 2 volunteers found her body more than 5 miles down the river. She passed away due to severe blunt force trauma to her head, which resulted in her drowning. An interview was released shortly after of Miley Altman, where she too recalls Paul being the driver of the boat.
I never saw who was driving again.
Who was the last person you saw driving?
I'm pretty sure it was Paul. But I mean, it could have been back and forth between it because he was just, not in his right mind. Like, he was just like, I need to drive and all this kind of stuff. He was, like I said, he's very persistent with driving. So I'm pretty sure. Because I don't know that for a fact, because I was still standing, like I was still facing forward. Like I wasn't like, constantly looking back. Mm-hmm. But like as I was looking forward, like the last person I saw was him. So. Okay.
Paul's blood alcohol content was 0.28, which is more than 3 times the legal limit to operate a motor vehicle. Yet, he was never taken to jail for booking, nor was he ever handcuffed or questioned by local authorities. This led many to speculate that Paul and Alex was receiving special treatment due to their family connections. The family's lawyer at the time, Mark Tinsley, would detail a moment where Alex also tried to discourage him from pursuing the case. On July 7, 2021, at exactly 8:44 p.m., Paul would take a video on his cell phone to send to a friend. His friend would never receive this video. This specific piece of evidence played a major role in cracking the case.
Get back! Get back! Quit, Cash. Come. Quit. That's okay. Come here. It's not that bad. Come here, Cash. Shit. Come here. Post it. Cash.
Hey, he's got a bird in his mouth. Bubba.
Hey, Bubba.
That's a guinea.
This is a chicken.
Come here, Bubba.
Come here, Cash.
Come here, Bubba.
Cash. Quit.
Alex, along with friends and family members, would later testify that was indeed his voice in the recording. This is crucially important, as less than 7 minutes later, Alex would make his 911 call.
Okay, you said 4147 Moselle Road in Allison?
Sir?
You said 4147 Moselle Road in Allison?
Yes, sir. 4147 Moselle Road.
Stay on the line with me, okay? Yes, sir. Stay on the line with me, okay?
Sergeant Daniel Green would be the first to arrive on scene and immediately discovered Paul and Maggie, both suffering from gunshot wounds to the head.
Central 717
Paul
senior
was
security.
located in the
Had a whiskey
driveway
Fox,
while Maggie
whiskey
was
Mike, both
located
gunshot
towards the
wounds to
back.
head.
Some may distinctly point out that Alex subconsciously decided to wait for police in the dark, rather than in the garage where it's more illuminated. It's also worth noting that Alex distances himself, where a more authentic and genuine behavior would be kneeling beside his wife and son until police arrived.
This is the firearm you brought from inside the house?
Yes, sir. I went and got. This is a long story. My son was in a boat wreck few months back. He's been getting threats. Most of it's been benign stuff we didn't take serious.
Okay.
You know, he's been getting like punched. I know that's somebody. I know that's what it is.
Okay.
Alex begins this interaction stating that he knows that's what it is, referring to the boat crash that sadly took the life of Mallory Beach in 2019. But oddly, we observe Alex say the crash occurred merely months ago, when in actuality, it happened almost 2 years ago at that time. This type of behavior shows Alex's insight of the importance of relevancy when giving police a lead.
When did you get home? Right when you called, or did you go to the house first? Where is the house?
I came to the house first. My mom has late stages Alzheimer's, and my dad is in the hospital.
Okay.
I left. I don't know what time. I can go back on my phone and tell you the exact times. Did you check?
Okay. Did I check what?
Did you check them?
We got medical guys that are that's what they're gonna do. Okay.
What are they doing? Can they hurry?
They are. Yes, sir. That gentleman that was out here already, he's one of the battalion chiefs. Okay. How did you pull up? You from back there?
I went to the house and they weren't home, which was odd. I tried to call.
Okay.
And then I knew they had been down here before I left to go to my mom's.
Okay.
And so that is loaded.
Okay.
You might want to unload it. But I mean.
Alex states he was at his mother's house before making his startling discovery. In hindsight, this is simply not true. The video taken from Paul's Snapchat captures both Maggie and Alex present at the kennel at exactly 8:45 p.m. Cell phone data would reveal that minutes later, both Paul and Maggie's phone would unlock for the very last time. The orientation on Maggie's phone would then change from landscape to portrait as someone attempted to unlock her phone, but failed the face recognition ID. This made investigators believe that this was the time both victims were slain. OnStar data would reveal Alex switching his car from park to drive and drove 40 to 70 miles per hour heading to his mother's house, where coincidentally, Maggie's phone was found along the same path. Maggie's phone recorded 59 steps taken, and Alex 254 steps taken. Cell phone data would also reveal that Alex arrived at his mother's house and began calling Maggie, Paul, and Buster, but Maggie's calls were deleted from the call history. When analyzing Alex's kinesics, it's often interpreted that crossing one's arms is commonly related to being defensive, or, in other words, uncomfortable. This type of behavior isn't congruent with the situation at hand. We also observe Alex switch from a state of manic and distraught to instantly cognitively aware when telling the officer about his weapon.
Is this the only firearm with you? This is the only one, or is there any more in the truck?
I believe that's it.
You think that's the only one? Okay.
I'm 99%.
Do you normally
certain that's
have
right.
any other firearms in your vehicle?
I don't, but
Okay.
occasionally there's a pistol in there.
Okay.
They are dead, aren't they?
Just turn on those.
Yes, sir. That's what it looks like.
Randy. That's my brother.
Okay. When was the last time you were here with them, or talked to them, or anything like that?
It was earlier tonight. I don't know the exact time, but
Okay.
I left. I was probably gone an hour and a half from my mom's, and I saw them about 45 minutes before that.
Okay.
I rode around with Paul for 2 hours this afternoon in the pickup truck.
That's your son, Paul? Okay.
Somebody going to check him?
Yes, sir. They've already checked them.
They did check him?
Yes, sir.
This is official that they're dead?
Yes, sir. That's what it looks like.
I'm sorry.
No. You're fine.
I'm very sorry.
It's important to note that the kennel is more than 1,000 yards from the house, and Maggie did not like visiting the kennel at night. Since there was no other vehicle at the crime scene, it's speculated that both Maggie and Paul drove with Alex, as it's highly unlikely the two had walked from the house. Here, the officer briefly questions Alex about the tire marks.
I see quite a few tire tracks in here. Were any of these you going in and out?
No, I came in here and I left one time and I came back.
Okay.
But the rest of them, maybe
Okay.
from earlier, but
Okay.
only 2 are mine.
Did you go out this way at all?
No.
Police right.
The very next day, SLED agent David Owen would conduct an interview with Alex and his personal attorney Danny Henderson about any information that he may have that could help lead to a possible suspect. This interview in particular is most important and will mainly be dissected, as this is Alex's first explanation excluding the initial contact. It's also worth noting that being the very next day, Alex wouldn't have enough time to fabricate a well thought out alibi, hence making this interview the most telling. We observe Alex exuding what seems to be immense trauma as he stares off into space for more than 20 seconds, or what some would interpret as anxiousness as he awaits for the first question.
And sir, what was your name?
Yeah, Danny Henderson.
Okay. All right. As I stated, I'm David Owen in Lower Rutland with Colleton County, and I'm with SLED. I hate to have to do this.
I understand.
Yeah.
I totally
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah.
So you don't.
Deputy Jason Chapman noted on a different occasion that upon talking with Alex, he would often change his demeanor spontaneously and notice that his napkin seemed rather dry, as he would frequently cry without shedding any tears. Here, we're able to witness this phenomena for the second time. Alex also admits to touching both Maggie and Paul before police arrived, which isn't out of the ordinary, but intriguingly, Alex explains his knowledge of refraining from tampering with the crime scene.
And I ran over to Maggie, and actually, I think I tried to turn Paul over first. I tried to turn him over, and I don't know, I figured it out. His cell phone popped out of his pocket. I started to try to do something with it, thinking maybe, but then I put it back down really quickly. Then I went to my wife, and I could see.
Did you touch Maggie at all?
I did. I touched them both.
Okay.
I tried to do it as limited as possible, but I tried to take their pulse on both of them. And, I called 911 pretty much right away, and she was very good.
What all was around Paul when you walked up?
Blood.
Anything else?
There were some body things, yes, sir.
Like any other evidence? I know you said the phone fell out the pocket, but did you see anything else that didn't belong or shouldn't belong or that wasn't part of Paul?
No, sir, not the... No, sir.
How about Maggie?
No, sir.
You didn't see anything around them? What made you come out here tonight?
I went to... My mom's a late-stage Alzheimer's patient. My dad's in the hospital. My mom gets anxious when she does. I went to check on them and Maggie. Maggie's a dog lover, and she fools with the dogs. And I knew she'd gone to the kennel. I was at the house. I left the house and went to my mom's for just a little while. Tried to call her when I left. Texted her, no response. When I got back to the house was obviously nobody was in there, so I figured they're still up here fooling around. Paul was gonna be getting set up to plant. Our sunflower seeds got sprayed and died, and he was refiguring to plant the sunflower seeds.
Okay.
So I came back up here and I drove up and saw and called.
Alex claims he was at his mother's house before making his discovery. Again, according to Paul's video taking at the kennel, it clearly reveals that Alex was indeed present the moment both Maggie and Paul were shot. This is one of the main contradictions in Alex's alibi. Alex also claims he tried calling Maggie and Paul, which is true, but not in the correct order of which he recalls. Again, according to cell phone data acquired, Alex was present during the homicide. He then drove to his mother's house shortly after, where he then proceeded to call Maggie, Paul, and Buster before driving back to the kennel. The officer will now ask about Paul and Maggie's relationship and any possible suspect that he could think of.
Had Maggie and Paul been arguing over anything?
No.
What was their relationship like?
Wonderful.
Wonderful. How about yours and Maggie's?
Wonderful. I mean, I'm sure we had little things here and there, but we had a wonderful marriage, wonderful relationship.
And yours and Paul's relationship?
As good as it could be.
Have y'all been having any problems out here? Trespassers? People breaking in?
None that I know of. The only thing that what comes to my mind is my son Paul was in a boat wreck a couple years ago. And there's been he was charged with being arrested for being the driver. There's been a lot of negative publicity about that, and there's been a lot of people online just really vile stuff. But when Paul's out and about, I mean, people routinely, I don't think I know the full story, because I don't think they give it to me, but I mean, he's been punched and hit and just attacked a lot. So, but I mean, nothing like this.
Yeah. Any one person in particular or group of people?
I don't know.
That you could think of?
Not that I know, no, sir.
Alex claims that there were people trying to attack Paul, but cannot think of anyone in particular. The officer reluctantly presses on the issue, and Alex then tells an extravagant story of a landscaper that works on his property.
Has he, other than being assaulted, has he received any direct threats related to the boat accident?
Oh, yes. All the time he gets
recently?
Yes, sir. I mean, he gets them all the time.
Okay.
He gets them all the time.
What kind of, I'm
gonna kick your ass, I've never been privy firsthand,
Is that through social media or?
No, ma'am. It's mostly like if he goes out places is what he goes out like somewhere. He's in college, so if he goes out is what I understand. And I can find out better details from some of his younger friends on that.
So is there anybody that you can think of that we need to talk to tonight? Is there a name that comes to mind?
I mean, I can't tell you anybody that I'm overly suspicious of off the top of my head.
Okay.
I mean, this is such a stupid thing. I'm even embarrassed to say it. But it just didn't.
make any sense. I just hired a guy out here, and he wasn't cutting the mustard, but I hadn't told him this yet. Paul's been working with him a lot. He killed the sunflower seeds in our dove field just recently, which is why Paul was here doing this. He told Paul a story the other day about how when he was in high school, he got in a fight with some black guys. And the FBI undercover team observed him fighting those guys and put him on an undercover team with 3 Navy SEALs. And that their job was to kill radical Black Panthers. And they did that from Myrtle Beach to Savannah. Now, I really don't think this guy, is probably the person, but that's just so friggin'.
Yeah, that's kind of far-fetched story.
It's weird, but he was off today.
Okay.
He took his daddy to the doctor.
What's his name? Do y'all store any weapons out here?
We don't store them, but they're frequently out here. I need to find out if there were any out here, because I know there was a shotgun. There was a 12-gauge shotgun out here. I'll have to find out exactly when that was. I think it got put up, but I'm not positive.
What did that shotgun look like?
It was a camouflage. I want to say it was a Benelli or maybe a Beretta. I can't remember which brand it is. But I don't think it was out here.
Okay.
Recently.
This part of the interview is also very important, as the victims were shot with 2 different types of firearms. 300 blackout rifle cartridges along with 12-gauge shotgun shells were found at the crime scene, but neither the shotgun nor assault rifle was ever found. Megan Fletcher, a forensic scientist, would later testify that Alex indeed tested positive for GSR on his hands, shirt, pants, and on the seatbelt of his car. Yet, a time frame couldn't accurately be assessed. Alex now details that him and Paul began riding around the property before the murder occurred. This led many to believe that Alex spent this time with Paul as he knew what was about to happen.
What was their schedule today? When did they get home?
My son works for my brother, and he was coming home to deal with the sunflowers. He got here. He got here pretty early because he and I rode around looking at everything for a good little while, probably 45 minutes to an hour. Maggie had things she did in Charleston, and she had a doctor's appointment in Charleston, and she got back here. It was fairly late.
Was it unusual for Maggie to feed the dogs this time of night or check on them?
Oh no, I mean, she played with those dogs all the time, and it's especially common for her to, she's been gone for a while, to come and let especially 2 of them out to run.
Okay, so she pretty regularly comes out here in the evenings?
Very regularly.
Okay.
She comes out here a lot.
Laura, you got anything?
This one's hard, but when you first saw Paul, you said you tried to flip him over. Was he laying on his back or on his stomach?
Just like he is.
Just like he is, so you weren't able to move him. Okay.
No, ma'am.
Okay. And did he help Maggie a lot out here with the animals?
He helped everybody with everything.
Okay, so it was kind of routine for him to be out here as well in the evening?
This place is his absolute passion.
Okay.
I tried to turn him, and then I checked him, and I I think I already knew, but I checked them.
And when you first pulled into the property, did you come from this direction where all our police cars are, or which way did you come in?
I went to the house.
Okay.
And then I came from the house
This way.
straight here. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I mean, where my vehicle was parked is probably
is where it was. Okay.
Well, no, maybe not exactly, but it was pretty close because I came back the same route.
That's right, because you went back to get your shotgun.
When I came back.
All right. I can't think of anything else right now, but we'll certainly be in touch.
Thank y'all for everything y'all are doing.
Yes, sir. So just to kind of let you know what's going to go on, we're going to be out here for quite some time. The coroner will take custody of Paul and Maggie.
Can I answer that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. What?
So the coroner will come over and talk to you. They'll do the autopsy and everything, and then go from there.
Thank you.
But we'll come to you before we leave.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
Thank you, Mr. Rutland.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Here, you want this water?
Oh, yes, please. Thank you.
Yep.
Two days later, Agent David Owen would conduct a follow-up interview with Alex about any information that he may have left out. Police had already taken Alex's clothes for further testing and currently in the process of retrieving his phone.
Well, I'm going to tell y'all this, even though I think it's kind of crazy. I was certain that I heard them pull up. I mean, I was positive that I heard. And people don't just come out there. We don't get passed through. I was certain that I heard them pull up, but they didn't.
Okay. Well, if you heard something pull up, what did it sound like?
I can't tell you what it sounded like. I just know that I thought that my wife had pulled up, or that Paul had pulled up.
Would it have been the buggy that she normally drives, or would it be a car?
No. I had the impression that a car pulled up.
Okay.
And
had you woken up by that time, but hadn't left for your mom's?
Yep.
Okay.
But it wasn't much time in between there because I left pretty damn close. It wasn't much time between me waking up and me leaving the house.
Okay.
And when I went outside, there's a wild cat that lives around that house. Okay. I'm pretty sure it was the cat that ran from my car, but I never had the impression it was a person, but there was something.
Okay.
But I really don't think, I'm just throwing that out there because it was in my mind.
Yeah, nope, that's fine. And we talked about this a little bit the other night too. I know Paul had been getting some threats and getting some being assaulted from, the boat. Who stands out in your mind, besides the boat incident? Who stands out in your mind that would want to come after Paul and or Maggie?
I mean, sir, I can't think of anybody who would want to go to that extreme, I mean, he got a bunch of threats, mostly from, I mean, I have no idea.
How would he receive most of those threats?
What do you mean?
I mean, would people call and hang up on him, or send him text, or
it wasn't
social
so much
media?
That it was mostly like, in-person confrontations are the ones that I learned about. Now, I suspect his friends can probably tell you about more, because I doubt Paul told me about all of them.
Okay.
But I knew about a lot of them. You know, there were a lot of times where people would come up to him and he'd be like, they'd say something about, you know, you gonna tell me who was driving that boat, or you little piece of shit, were you driving that boat? You know, stuff like that.
Okay.
The detective
go to
inquires
Charleston
about
with
similar
in the boat that
topics as
weekend?
the previous interview, such as his relationship with Maggie.
How is your relationship with Maggie?
Very good. As good as it could possibly be. I mean, you know, we had our issues, but wonderful.
Along with Paul's behavior,
He was a really
and
great
tendencies.
kid.
So, being a dad myself, what was the biggest issue you had with Paul when you had to call him down and scold him or correct him? What was the biggest issue you had with Paul?
You know, irresponsibility.
Missing firearms.
And, you know, I mean, Paul has guns scattered all over the place. So, you know, some of our guns aren't there. But, so you want to know all of them, or you want to know what I think is in my house? Or what was in my house on Monday?
Yeah, what was in your house? Let's start with what was in your house on Monday.
Okay.
And, you
Alex
know,
now
and
makes
I
a
just,
peculiar statement about his son.
being in law enforcement for so long and working these type cases, and I don't know the Arlington area, but talking to Colleton County and seeing the property and how isolated it is, finding somebody that's just going to randomly come up there that late at night that doesn't know the property, you know, that's... So, of course, I have to look within and then start working my way out.
So you feel like it's not random? You feel like it's intentional? I mean, planned?
I don't know what to feel right now. And I hate to say that. I don't know what to feel right now.
So do y'all have any good clues?
All of the evidence that we collected Tuesday morning, and we collected additional evidence on Tuesday afternoon. They collected evidence at autopsy today. So we're trying to put a rush on that to get an answer quick, and hoping that's going to tell us something.
By evidence, I mean, is it things you think are going to be helpful?
Well, I mean, the shot shells out there, the casings, the DNA swabs that we took from the door handle to see if anybody touched the door handles, any other places that we think somebody may have touched while they were out there. You know, we're trying to collect DNA from that and analyze that. Which, at the conclusion of this, what I'm going to also ask is that we get a buccal swab, a DNA swab from you.
No problem.
Your DNA is going to be there, but we need to eliminate it once it's developed. So, you know,
we don't need that unknown when it actually is a family member.
That's no problem.
I mean, we have talked to close to 100 people trying to track people down, and we're still tracking people down. And that's why, you know, who Paul was with.
I want to tell you one thing while I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
Paul was really an incredibly intuitive little dude.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, he was like a little detective. And, I mean, Paul would, you know, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Alex now refers to Paul as a little detective, with little to no explanation provided. This would be a quite controversial moment during trial, as it has been revealed that Paul confronted Alex about finding pills in his bag and wanted to talk about it.
Do you have any other questions that I might be able to answer right now that we hadn't gone over?
No, sir.
As soon as I get something, and if it's okay with you, John Marvin asked me to go through him.
That's fine.
So I'm not bothering you in case you're doing something. What time is the service tomorrow?
12 o'clock.
Okay. Where is that going to be?
Hampton.
What, at a church or?
It's graveside.
Okay. So if I get something around that time, I won't bother you. I'll wait 1:30 and.
If you get anything important, you can call me anytime.
Okay.
Anytime.
Okay. Are y'all going to publicize the service, or is it just going to be for family and friends?
No, sir. It's going to be, it's going to be open, but I got TC and those making sure I don't want any press anywhere near.
Yeah.
So,
no, they don't deserve to be near.
They're going to make sure, in the town of Hampton that, there's no press.
Okay.
On September 4th, 2021, Alex would make yet another 911 call. This time, Alex claimed he was stopping to change a flat tire, and then an unknown assailant opened fire, striking him in the head.
Hampton County 911, where's your emergency?
On Salkehatchie Road.
Okay, what's the address on Salkehatchie Road?
I'm by the church.
What church? What church are you talking about?
I don't know the name of it with the red roof.
Okay, what end of Salkehatchie Road? Because I don't know what you're talking about.
At the Hampton County side.
Okay, what's going on?
I got a flat tire,
and
I stopped, and somebody stopped to help me. And when I turned my back, they tried to shoot me.
Oh, okay. Were you shot?
Yes, but I mean, I'm okay.
You shot where? Where were you shot at?
Huh?
Did they actually shoot you or they tried to shoot you?
They shot me, but...
Okay, wait, you need EMS?
Well, I mean, yes, I can't drive.
Okay.
I'm having trouble seeing, and I'm bleeding a lot.
Where part of your body?
I'm not sure. Somewhere on my head.
Your head?
Somewhere on my head. Somebody just stopped for me, ma'am. For 911.
Okay. Still?
Hey.
Okay, let me speak to him, see if he can tell me exactly where you are. Okay, and what's your name? I'm still here. I'm stay on the line with you. What's your name?
Alex Murdaugh.
Alex Murdaugh?
Yes, ma'am.
And you see you were driving, you got a flat tire, somebody stopped to help you and they shot you?
Well, they pulled over, yes, ma'am, like they were going to help me.
Okay, stay on the line with me. We're going to get some.
I'm bleeding pretty bad.
Okay.
St. John's Missionary Church.
St. John's Missionary Church?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And can you give me a description of the person that shot you or shot at you?
Yes, ma'am. I mean, it was a white fella. I'd say
a white male.
A fair amount younger than me. Really, really short hair. You have an ambulance coming, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Stay on the line. I got them on the way.
You think one of y'all can drive me to the hospital?
Yes, sir. You want to get the trunk, though, because I got a baby and he's going to back.
One of y'all could get in this car and drive me?
Yes, sir.
They're going to drive me to the hospital.
Recently released documents would entail that Alex allegedly hired his cousin Curtis Edward Smith, who at the time Alex was getting his pills from, to shoot and kill him on the side of the road. Alex would eventually confess to law enforcement that the plan was for Smith to kill him so that Buster, Murdaugh's only surviving son, would collect a life insurance policy worth approximately $10 million. Smith was originally given 5 years in prison, but has recently been released on a $250,000 bond. As for Alex, he would soon resign from the law firm after being confronted with the missing funds. He would eventually undergo internal investigations, revealing that Alex was guilty of stealing millions of dollars from clients. Not only that, Alex faces over 90 charges, including the double homicide of his wife Maggie and his son Paul. He was given a life sentence without the possibility of parole and is currently being held in protective custody at a maximum security prison in South Carolina. The Moselle property has since been sold for $3.9 million, and the Satterfields were reimbursed with a $4.3 million settlement.
New developments with the nations and everything, trying to get us to quit selling stuff. I don't know really what that's going to have in store.
Yeah, I told y'all that was coming.
Yeah, man, this Eric dude.
That I said that was coming?
Nah, I just saw it on Twitter.
No, I called Jim Marvin the other day to tell him he needed to do it as quickly as possible because they were going to be doing it any day, making a motion.
So this Eric Bland guy seems like a real charm.
Well, this is his 5 minutes in the sun,
Eric Bland is the lawyer for Gloria Satterfield's family.